Welcome, brave souls, to Fear File Chronicles, your one-way ticket to spine-chilling stories and terrifying tales. Tonight, we'll be diving into the darkest corners of the human mind with a story, my proudest dark web production yet, penned by the twisted mind of Karysb. Together, we'll explore the unexplained and face our deepest fears. But before we begin, if you enjoy trembling in terror, be sure to hit that like button. Share this video with your fellow fear fanatics and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click the bell notification so you never miss an eerie episode. Your support truly means the world to us, so feel free to leave a comment below to join the Fear File Chronicles community. Now, without further ado, let's unravel the mysteries of the unknown together as we delve into tonight's fear-inducing story, my proudest dark web production yet. Dim the lights and prepare yourself for a chilling journey into the Fear File Chronicles. Dr. So's 6 Men Together. What their amalgamated carcass does will shock you. Mannequin abducts nurse. What happens next will make you crave human flesh. Organ harvester fires employee. What they do next will surprise you. Just 3 of thousands of titles directed and written by myself, chief producer and director at Bloodwork Studios. We make a special kind of content. In a typical film, you can expect to see one of our diverse cast of characters learn a variety of important moral lessons, such as not judging murderers by their choice of weapon, and being honest about the age of decomposition when selling rotten corpses. Each video tells an allegory to communicate one of these important messages. St. Gormoth, the founder and face of our company, is a frequent star in our films. At the end of each video, he comes out to explain why the message is important. He's quite a respected figure in the industry, having directed many critically acclaimed works, including The Vicissitudes of Quivering Flesh, the equally dazzling and disturbing artistic snuff film. He's who I have to thank for my career as a darknet producer. We have an intense upload schedule, producing 3 to 4 videos a day. And before you ask, no, we're not abducting hundreds of humans a week to participate in these videos. That would be silly and impractical. We prefer to produce our actors in a more unconventional manner, a method we've perfected over many years. We have special breeding pits set up all around the abandoned town we operate in. We collect mostly animal-sourced matter, which is digested into a biological pulp and then molded into human bodies. A couple blood incantations, and you have a walking, talking, perfect imitation of a human, only without the free will. Even more conveniently, once they become damaged or once we're done with them, we can recycle the body parts back into the flesh pits to create more of them. Non-human actors, who frequently grace our shows to teach our protagonists their moral lessons, are a little different. They are more difficult to procure, and the biofuel just doesn't make convincing substitutes. So we have to think of alternatives. A lot of the time, it's easiest just to rely on CGI and special effects. We do our best with what we have. Some would say our videos are forced, repetitive, and that they offer quite obvious and common-sense moral messages. But that's merely a matter of perspective. I've seen the impact our videos have, particularly on the newest generation who are growing into this world. Knowing there are people out there learning something from the work we're putting out, that's what keeps my passion alive for making these types of videos. Well, the 6-figure salary helps too, but the salary isn't the most important thing. It's because of this passion and drive to do what I do, and the effort I put in to produce such quantities of content that what I'm about to share with you here was so upsetting to find out about. Laughing Corpse Productions, a now irrelevant organization you've probably never heard of. They appeared recently, a couple years after my videos got popular on the darknet, probably seeing the success of us and deciding they wanted to carve off a piece of our audience for themselves. It wasn't long before their films were brought to my attention by some of my audience who'd watched them for their increasingly evident levels of similarity to my own. Here's an example. About 7 months ago, I released a video with the title, "Woman Refuses Gift from Cannibal Family. The Ending Will Make You See Red." Not a day later, Laughing Corpse Productions came out with a video titled "Mother Insults Cannibal Neighbors. How They React Will Have Your Vision Going Red." I watched their entire video. It was a complete carbon copy, and with how badly made it was, I thought at first it must be a parody. Then I went through some of their other videos and realized it wasn't the only one. In fact, I struggled to find a video of theirs which wasn't a ripoff of one of my own creations. As you can imagine, this discovery made me livid. I hunted down one of their producers online and contacted them. I made it very clear what I would do to their business if they didn't cut it out and take all the similar videos down. The producer wasn't fazed by these threats. He shut off all contact after a brief argument between us. I could already tell Laughing Corpse Productions was going to cause more problems for me. Their response came a couple of nights later. I was startled awake by a cacophony of shrieks and gunfire, interspersed with crashes and sounds of breaking glass. I stumbled out of my office where I had dozed off, wiping drool from the corner of my mouth. I was greeted by the smell of smoke and the sight of glimmering spots of red flames in the night. I ran over to find my production set burnt and vandalized and several of my crew dead. The perpetrators had come in during the night. I would later learn with the assistance of one of my ex-employees who'd helped them deal with our security. They killed anyone they'd found and completely trashed the place. Pictures soon appeared on 8chan and several other dark web forums, where we distributed our work of what they'd done and of them doing it. These idiots were boasting about it everywhere. It became more infuriating after, as Laughing Corpse Productions continued to copy our videos and reproduce them, all the time claiming we were the ones creating cheap rip-offs of their films. They were clearly convinced they were going to continue getting away with their sick behavior. Saint Gormoth instructed me to make sure they were held accountable, for my own sake as well as for theirs. I understood perfectly. Every day where they were allowed to operate, we were made to look like fools and were inviting more people to exploit us, as Laughing Corpse Productions were doing. And worst of all, we were steadily losing the support of our audience. I considered making use of a cult of deranged maniacs I'd befriended and taken in recently, to replace some of my murdered employees, to hurt them like they hurt me. With my resources and their ravenous ferocity, I could easily trash their operations and massacre all their staff. It just wouldn't be sufficient, I decided. I needed to make a special example out of them after what they'd done to my organization. Something everyone across the darknet would remember. Something to make my mentor Gormoth proud. I spent some time considering how best to handle the situation. In a strange way, I remember feeling almost like a character in one of the videos I produced. And then I wondered. I asked myself how I would write the ending to this if this was all part of a script I was working on. Inspired, I devised my plan, and then I set to work. I gathered all the information I could on the Laughing Corpse Productions company. I had some of my shadow web savvy friends figure out who the owner was and retrieve their personal details. Apparently, it was some rich Russian guy who conducted his operations inside of a warehouse in a dodgy part of Novosibirsk. The remainder of his time, he was locked up in a large, comfortable apartment, tended to by multiple assistants and female escorts. I acquired his full name and identity. I got his email, his phone, his address, everything. I made sure my friends operated covertly, so as not to draw his attention. Meanwhile, I kept up the charade of being angry at him, so as not to draw his suspicions to what I was planning. I ranted on forums about how Laughing Corpse Productions was going to pay and let them continue to laugh and mock me. I bided my time. As my friends did their work, I was busy in the pre-production of my most ambitious project yet, an hour-long film which would be titled Film Director Targets Competition: How Their Audience Responds Will Traumatize You. Once I had learned everything I needed about Igor and his company, and once my filming crews were ready, I released a special trailer for this new feature. With the trailer, I made a grand announcement I knew would excite all of my fans into a frenzy. For the first time ever, my fans could be in one of the Bloodwork Studios videos. Whichever individuals hunted down Igor first would become the stars of the show. I gave the audience all the details they needed. I left just enough information out to make it at least a bit of a challenge for them to find the guy and get to him. I wanted the film to be fun and exciting. And of course, I wanted to make it look like the audience had hunted Igor down, since that was part of the narrative. I filmed the entire thing. I had camera crews set up around Igor's home and more following him quietly everywhere he went. I made sure to capture the story from every angle. The audience went above and beyond what I expected of them. More than 50 people participated in the game, traveling all the way over from their homes in distant countries. Relentlessly, they hunted Igor down. I kept track of their progress through their updates on various message threads that had popped up discussing my upcoming movie. The man who reached him called himself Butcher Master Stevens. He was dressed up in a thick overcoat with blood-stained gloves and tracksuit pants. Most notably, he had several grimy metal spikes embedded in his skull, which protruded from his ragged mop of hair. His eyes were red and permanently bloodshot, giving him a pleasantly deranged look. I won't discuss exactly what he did to Igor. You'll have to watch the video to find that out. I will say it was creative, very long and drawn out, and every moment of it was captivating to watch. Stevens was a natural-born killer. Of that much I was certain. He met up with the film crew after he was done with Igor and introduced himself, giving quite a show for the camera. He had a backstory prepared and everything. He was brilliant, a well-trained actor. I was very satisfied with his performance, and I knew I absolutely had to hire him into my crew. It wasn't only Stevens who left an impression either. When the others figured out Igor was no more than a collection of scattered, burnt, and completely unrecognizable remains, they located the warehouse he'd been operating in and stormed the place. I was lucky enough to be able to catch it all on camera. I had some people stationed there to keep an eye out for Igor in case he went over there to do some work. I decided to include the footage, though it meant extending the film well over its intended length. I thought such dedicated individuals deserved recognition. And, of course, the employees of Laughing Corpse Productions had to be held accountable somehow too. The film was my greatest success yet. Live showings of it occurred on gore websites who'd previously lifted their noses at my work. I had my employees sorting through countless sites, selling pirated copies, and taking them down. With the overwhelming attention, I began to feel a little bit like a celebrity, and St. Gormoth was proud. He wasn't going to murder me brutally for displeasing him. Instead, he gave me a pay raise, along with generous praise. Gormoth truly is a pleasure to work with when he isn't angry at you. It looks like audience participation will become a permanent thing from now on. And with nothing left of Laughing Corpse Productions, I'm able to focus on my work again, what's truly important to me. It seems like people got the message with Igor's death. Another valuable moral lesson I've taught the world through my passion and love of storytelling. It would be great if you could have the pleasure of seeing my most famous film someday, if you can afford to purchase it. If you ever happen across my videos, and perhaps even become a supporter of Bloodwork Studios, it's my hope you'll find some meaning out of my work as so many others have done. It's supporters like you who keep me doing what I'm doing. Well, my friends, we've reached the end of tonight's chilling tale, my proudest dark web production yet, by the talented Karysb. I hope you've enjoyed our descent into darkness and that you'll carry a piece of the Fear File Chronicles with you as you drift into uneasy dreams. If our story left you shivering and shaking, don't forget to like this video, share it with others who crave a good scare, and subscribe to the Fear File Chronicles for more haunting horrors. Remember to hit the bell notification so you're always among the first to know when a new nightmare awaits. As always, we appreciate your support and would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Sharing your fears and frights with us truly means a lot, so don't be shy to engage with our sinister community. Until next time, remember to embrace the darkness, for it is within the shadows that our most terrifying stories are born. Good night, and stay scared.